Rosy Hardy. This is Rosy Hardy Gardening, and this is the Q&A for February. So we've got quite a few questions. Let's get a start. So this one is about Chelsea Chop, and it's should it be done first week of July? Advise it can be done on autumn joy sedums as well to avoid leggy floppy stems. Answer is yes, you can do it to any of the sedums. They're now called Hylotelephium, and they can be done. Here in the UK, Chelsea Chop is basically when Chelsea Flower Show is on. So it is the last week in May, maybe the first week in June, and that is when you cut your perennials down to nearly ground level and then allow them to regrow slowly. And that way they don't grow as tall, they go with slightly stronger stems, shorter stems, and don't flop over. So that is how that would be done. You'd have to equate that time of year to your own timing, depending on whether you're in the northern or southern hemisphere. This is a question from somebody who lives in southeast London, and they've grown Salvia amistad, and after the snow and frost that we had in December, his Salvia amistads are now looking totally black. Now, if they are still at full height, then that wouldn't surprise me. All of the growth will have died off, and they should still be alive. So what you want to be doing now is you want to be cutting them back down to around about 5–10 centimetres from ground level. That way you don't see the horrible dead growths on them, and hopefully by about May time you will start to see some shoots appearing from ground level, because they're a late season flowering salvia. If they don't reappear by the end of May, then I'm sorry, they haven't survived and you need to start again. This one is from somebody from West Northern Ireland, and they've had a lot of snow this year. Normally it's raining all the time. The Hellebores and Phormium have turned to mush and wants to know whether she should cut them back down to the base. Well, I would say very definitely with a hellebore, you can cut it back down to the base, and you should start to see new growths coming from below ground level, and it will come back perfectly okay. The Phormium I don't have quite so much faith with. Once you go back, if it starts to detach from the base, then it may not be very, very happy. However, it's worth a try. It's worth cutting it back, get rid of all of that soggy growth, because that is not doing the crowns of the plants any good whatsoever. Get rid of that, then see what happens. The hellebore I am certain will come back. The Phormium has a 50-50 chance. Someone here has got a question about some Hebes that they've grown. Thinks they're called frozen flames. They're pinkish flowering ones with pink foliage as well. They've got quite a bit of frost damage and wants to know what to do to revive them. Now, the trouble with frost damage on Hebes is that you've got to really wait until they're starting to regrow. You can see where the regrowth is and you can cut back the plants to that regrowth. If there are some really horrible dead bits and some very badly damaged bits, then by all means give them a cut back, and that should be absolutely fine. But then just watch out and see which bits are coming back. Sometimes Hebe will come back from being badly damaged. Other times they just look really unhappy and you're better off starting again. This is from someone who is in zone 8B, and they are growing Nandina pink blush. Works very, very well for them, but they've got very stalky, the leaves are at the top and these long stalks. And that basically is how Nandina can grow. They will put up these canes with the foliage at the top. Now, you can remedy this by cutting a third of the canes out. I'm not talking about the whole lot. So a third of the canes that are there, you cut them down to ground level. They will regrow, give you really beautiful foliage at a lower base, keeping your top foliage there as well. And then the following year, you take the next third. The following year, you take the next third. That way you can keep a lovely rounded bush with foliage right the way through on all of the plant. We've got a lady here who's a little bit confused with planting new perennials and grasses and then splitting old ones because some plants or some of the books will say, oh, you do it here, you do it then. So there are some simple rules of thumb when it comes to the planting or the splitting of perennials. So for instance, if they flower in the spring, then you split them and plant them in the autumn. If they flower in the autumn, then you split them and you plant them in the spring. So that is quite easy. My only caveat to that is if you are in very wet conditions, soil conditions, or you are in a frost pocket, then I would do all of your planting in the spring. Now, the only other thing she also wanted to know, with planting a new garden, should she wait until there is absolutely no frost at all to plant out? And she just goes, I'm so confused. And from that point of view, as long as the ground is not frozen solid and you can get onto it and work it, then you can plant out as from the end of February, beginning of March, and that is absolutely fine. It's only if the ground is completely frozen solid, do not plant out. I've got a lady here who is from Zone 8B. In Vancouver, BC, wanting some tall perennials, things that are between 3 and 4 feet tall, so between 90 centimetres and 1 metre 20, so a good medium size height of flowering perennial, and doesn't want them to need staking. Well, that's absolutely fine. There are quite a few that will do that. So there are quite a lot of different salvias. Salvia caradonna, I would recommend, is very, very good. It holds itself up nicely. There are grasses such as pennisetums and melineas, which will hold up their flower heads and you don't need to stake. Some of the taller hemerocallis are absolutely fine. Things like Sodalcia, so those are the mallows, and then also rudbeckias. You can get different height rudbeckias, and quite a lot of them have good strong stems. So there are plenty of things out there. The key thing with them is make sure that they're not too well fed, because if they have too much feed or too much water, they will get into soft growth. So try and avoid soft growth with them. I've got someone else here. Again, this is about the Chelsea chop, and wanting to know what type of plants this can be done to. So it's usually done to a lot of the autumn or late season flowering perennials, such as the sedums, such as rudbeckia, phlox, all those sorts of things. And actually some of the ones that this person has listed, so i.e. Joe Pyeweed, which is Eupatorium, bee balm, which is Monarda, and the Montbretia, which are Crocosmias. Now, of that list, no, you cannot Chelsea chop Montbretia. It does not like it. That is Crocosmia. The Monarda, the Eupatorium are perfectly happy to be Chelsea chopped, so that is no problem at all. And she's saying that the lupins tend to fall over. Well, the good thing with the lupins is, again, don't overfeed them, although they are greedy feeders. Don't overfeed. And remember that when you've had their first flowers, give them a quick haircut and they will give you shorter flower which doesn't fall over. Then the last one I've got here is, could I give some tips on how to prune hydrangeas? They live in the East Midlands here in the UK. So pruning your hydrangeas is dependent on the species that you've got. So if they are mop head types or if they are lace caps, they tend to be pruned in a slightly different way. But nearly all of them can have a tidy up prune in the autumn. If they are too big and maybe they've fallen over, that is perfectly fine. But usually you will prune or do the main pruning in the spring, and you will go back to really lovely big buds, and you will make them into the shape that you like and you want them to be. Thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel.